Hello, welcome back to the Post Football Podcast. Daniel Harrington joins me all the way from the Cayman Islands once again. Daniel, how are you?
I'm good, mate. Just finished watching Europa League a few hours ago. Probably same for you. And
Yeah,
looking forward to Sunday.
yeah. Sunday is the big one, the Champions League final between Bayern Munich and PSG. But we'll just quickly go over what we're going to cover today. Obviously, the Europa League final, which was played out already. We'll preview the Champions League final. Look at some transfer rumors going around. We'll look at Ronald Koeman being appointed the Barcelona manager, and then we'll finish off with the Premier League fixtures, which were just announced a day ago. So we'll kick things off with the Europa League final. High scoreline. It was a decent game for a final. What did you make of Sevilla winning their sixth Europa League title?
Well, I mean, I think it's their competition at this point, right? They were never not going to win that final, just looking at it from that point of view. But I think when you look at it, it was an evenly matched game in terms of quality for both sides. You'd probably argue that Inter had the better side, especially up top. I think Lukaku and Martinez is better than any strikers that Sevilla have, but they're there to be proven wrong. And Luke De Jong got 2 goals,
Yeah.
2 headers, I believe, and just I guess you have to say really impressive from Sevilla. Took their set piece as well, but also Inter Milan took their set pieces as well too. So I think what was just lacking was a bit of intensity from Inter Milan at the end of the day, and Sevilla were deserved winners.
Yeah, I think the experience in the competition definitely showed in the latter stages of the game. Both teams started very well. They were all both up for it, obviously being a European final. Inter Milan, what I didn't like, they were always in the referee's ear. Every time a decision didn't go their way, it was everyone surrounding the referee. It was quite Mourinho team-like in that sense. Well, I remember back to his Chelsea teams, they just have everyone in the referee's ear sort of thing. But um,
Just to just to point out something there though, Sevilla towards the end of the game reminded me of Croatia versus England.
mm,
You didn't even have to touch the player; they were on the floor for
well,
about 4 minutes.
I'm sure
Yeah,
I'm sure Inter Milan would have been the exact same. Any team in that situation, to be fair, but
yeah.
yeah, I thought over the balance of play, I thought Sevilla just edged it and deserved to win in the end. Set pieces, a big talking point. Luke De Jong, um, wow, some great some great heading from him. Godin scores a fantastic header as well. I was just thinking back to some of the other chances. We had Lukaku that went one on one in the
Yep.
second half, and what's the Sevilla's keeper name again? Is it Sosa?
Bono.
Oh no, why did I say Sosa? But yeah, he makes himself big and shuts Lukaku down. That was a massive turning point in the game. Lukaku could have put Inter ahead 3-2. Then 5 minutes later, um,
Great finish from Lukaku again in his own net.
yeah, if he can't do it at one end, he'll do it in the other. But oh, fantastic acrobatics by what's his name? I'm forgetting all the Sevilla players' names again. It was
Is it Carlos?
yeah, I think Carlos, or it was a Brazilian guy, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Apologies to our viewers for forgetting forgetting the name, but this is what you get when we review the Europa League, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, fantastic acrobatics from him to get the bicycle kick off, and yeah,
Lukaku really wanted to beat Ronaldo's record of 34 goals in a season at Inter Milan. He really wanted that 35th.
yeah, yes, the original Ronaldo, some might say, Ronaldo Nazario, but yes, Sevilla deserving winners, their sixth title. It was a decent game. Just trying to
That's
think.
all you can say, really. It was a decent
Yeah,
game. I
just
expect the Champions League final to be better, but in
yeah,
terms of quality, there was 5 goals. What more can
exactly.
you ask for?
Can't be complaining for a European final, I guess. Just trying to think. Conte towards the end tried to roll the dice with bringing Ericsson, Moses on, um,
Sanchez.
Sanchez as well, the Premier League lads. But there wasn't much doing when they came on. A few chances here and there, but um, yeah, Sevilla held their own and prevailed as winners.
I think 2 years ago, if you had said Inter Milan are going to be in the the Europa League Final with the front two of Sanchez and Lukaku, with Ashley Young and Moses on the wings, and Eriksson down the middle. Probably would have laughed at you, but here we are.
Yeah, transfers can be funny things sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have anything else to add on the game? Inter, I guess, another stat I'm trying to remember, is they're trophyless since 2011 when they last won the Copa. Yeah, I think so. Still a bit of a drought for them, but it looks like they're on the up in some respects. I just think Conte needs a bit more backing. I think he was complaining in the press earlier this season that he needs more backing financially if he wants to really, challenge Juventus domestically.
And you wouldn't also be surprised if Lautaro Martinez leaves as well at some point. So, yeah, we'll see. You'd still expect Juventus to be the main force,
Yeah, no, 100%. Maybe Martinez to Barcelona could be a shout with Suarez.
Very good shout.
But we'll move on to transfers later, and I guess we'll go to the showpiece event of the footballing season. It's Bayern Munich against PSG in the Champions League final in Portugal. It promises to be quite an open game by the way the two teams have been playing. PSG's first Champions League final promises to be a cracker, and by me saying this now, we're going to get a 0-0 all game, and it's going to get the penalties, and it's just going to
be. It'll finish 1-0 on penalties. There'll be 9 misses.
But yeah, so you're looking forward to this one, Daniel?
Yeah, I mean, it should be it should be a fantastic game. I think when we were looking at at least quarterfinals / semifinals draw, especially on the PSG side, you were probably thinking, Bayern Munich are probably going to be in the final. Who's the one team that you want up against them that's really going to give them a good game? Probably PSG, maybe Leipzig, but yeah, for sure PSG. And what's interesting is the mentality, though. When we look at the way Bayern reacted once they had even just beat Barcelona, but also when they knew they were in the final, they pretty calm, composed, we're only in the final, we haven't won it yet. Yeah. Very, very professional. And then you look at PSG, they beat Leipzig, which they are expected to beat them, and they celebrate like mad. So you can kind of tell where Bayern are. Bayern are there to get the job done, whereas PSG, I think, are still a bit, oh my God, we're in the final. So I think I would, if I had to take a guess, I think I would expect a bit of nerves on the side of PSG more so than on the side of Bayern. But it should be a pretty end-to-end game, I'd say, especially on the break. I mean, you're looking at PSG up front with, I would assume Di Maria, but then also Neymar and Mbappe going up against Davis and co. So Neuer will have to be on it, that's for sure. But in the same breath, Keylor Navas will have to be on it too. Do you think, is he going to play or is he?
There were question marks about his fitness. We could check that quickly. Who would be the backup again? Is it
Sergio Rico, right?
Yeah. Let's see.
I'm just trying to see.
They're confident he'll start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Keylor Navas is going to have a good game too, which he's a good goalkeeper. So
yeah, that'll be a boost.
I wouldn't doubt that.
Going to 1 or 2. But
yeah, but I was going to say, just on terms of when I look at the midfield and creativity coming from the midfield, I would say Bayern have quite a big advantage. That midfield has been very impressive this season. When you're looking at Goretzka passing it into Muller and then getting out on the wing to Gnabry, it's been really fun to watch. Not so much so when we're looking at the midfield of PSG. Mm-hmm. We're more excited by their front line.
Yeah, no, exactly. And Bayern's midfield is so dynamic. Their whole team is so dynamic. They could, choose so many options the way they want to play this final. Midfield options: Thiago, Goretzka, Kimmich. There's also Tolisso. Off the bench as well, usually. So They could even change the back line as well. I know they've got Pavard at right back, but if they want someone to help with the pace of Di Maria, Mbappe, and Neymar, they could even chuck Kimmich back at right back and slot someone else into. So
they got Alaba as well.
Alaba too, yeah. He's been playing centre back mostly, which is he's adapted incredibly well to playing centre back this season. Almost Maldini like shifting from left back to centre back. I wouldn't quite compare it to that, but he's been
Not just yet, no.
no, not just yet, but yeah, no, he's been great for them this season in central defence. They've also got Lucas Hernandez as well as an option at the back too. Sule, I think there were question marks over his fitness. I think he was just returning from injury as well, but they have a load of options and they've been getting it right recently. But there's just one more important game to get it right in. Is the most important one, the final. But yeah, PSG, as you mentioned, their midfield not quite as dynamic. You've got the likes of Gay and Verratti, but just trying to think who else really they could. There's not many options as you mentioned. So
Herrera.
I think Herrera's just he's a solid player, but he's not gonna he's just one of the.
He's not gonna start Champions League final, no.
Yeah.
I was just thinking in terms of, I don't know if you want to talk about the tactics. If we start with PSG, a game that I cast my mind back to is I think it was PSG versus Liverpool at Anfield, and that was quite a rugged, solid performance from PSG. Where I don't know if you remember, but it was the game where like Marquinhos celebrated putting the ball out for a corner,
Yeah.
And I think PSG are going to have to put in one of those types of performances again, dig deep, and not be hit too like harshly on the counter. Otherwise, and Gnabry, Muller, Lewandowski, and whoever plays on the left, whether it's Perisic or Coman, it's going to be tough for them. But I would fully expect Bayern to be as free flowing as ever. I wouldn't expect much to change. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, sort of thing.
Oh, it's going to be a massive test for the PSG at the back. I guess we mentioned Keylor Navas is coming back, so that'll be a bit more familiarity between him and his defence. Thiago Silva, massive game for him in terms of his leadership at the back as well. Him and Marquinhos, that's always been a strong partnership. It's just about the players around them. I think we've got Meunier at right back. He hasn't really been tested much at this level in terms of Champions League final intensity.
Bernat at left back.
But then again, they are playing without the supporters in the stadium as well. Maybe that plays a big factor into the nerves as well. I guess going back to your point on the two teams' preparation for the final, we saw PSG, the way they reacted, like they've just won the whole thing with Neymar celebrating, Mbappe tweeting and all this stuff. I think that was after when they both made the semi-finals, and he sort of tweeted like the Farmers League, and then reference Lyon as well. But if you look at how the way Bayern were reacting, I think after Thomas Muller did an post-match interview after the Barcelona game, and he was like, "Yeah, it's all well and good, we beat Barcelona, but he said after a team smashes someone 8-2, it's always the next game that we can't take our focus off of. Like that's how you can really get undone if you don't keep your focus." And Bayern Munich, they've been in this situation before, and they know exactly what they're doing. So I guess experience play a big part, but also playing in a Champions League final, that supporters can play a big part for helping PSG overcome that sort of nervousness, I guess, as well.
Yeah, and I think just going back to the point you made there, where Muller was saying that they can't. The next game they couldn't take their focus off, and the next game was Lyon, and you have to admit at the start Lyon had a few chances, but it was a pretty solid professional performance. A 3-0 win in a semi-final is it does more than getting the job done. So I think in terms of are they ready for this? Yes, I would say so. They put in a professional shift last time around. And do they have the experience? 100%. I mean, I know Lewandowski hasn't won a final, but he's been in one before as well, and it was against Bayern Munich. and I think he's going to be really hungry for this one.
Oh yeah, the whole Bayern Munich juggernaut, if you'd like, just reeks of winners, and you just feel that they're going to go and do the job against
Oh
PSG.
yeah.
And yeah, I fully expect them to do it. But
Any predictions?
predictions, oh geez, it's so hard to predict a Champions League final because you never know what can happen. But I'll go for Bayern Munich 3, PSG 1, I reckon.
So I'm going on similar lines of that. I think Bayern Munich will go up 3-1 at one point, and I think PSG are going to score a late goal. So I think it'll finish 3-2. Though I don't think they'll be able to find that goal to take into extra time. I think it'll be 3-2.
Fair enough. And yeah, I think lots of things could happen in this in this final. We'll touch on some favorite final memories shortly, but just going back to the tactics in the game. Bayern Munich recently, they've been playing that high line defensively, which is what people have been talking about going into this final, which may favour the likes of Neymar, Mbappe, and Di Maria. It's not to say that Bayern Munich will play the high line against PSG. They may be working on, maybe staying 10 meters back, 10 yards back, in order to negate the pace of Mbappe, Neymar, Di Maria. But even so, if they play the high line, they have so much pace at the back as well. Alphonso Davies and even Boateng is still quite quick as well. David Alaba as well. You want to talk about a bit Alphonso Davies against Mbappe. That looks to be quite the matchup.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I think the way that PSG are gonna, if Bayern do play that high line, the way PSG are gonna try to get on him, it's probably not gonna be down the middle. I don't think they're gonna try to thread through the eye of the needle straight down the middle. I think they'll adopt the Liverpool approach and try to get it out to the wings quick, and then and let's see your pace basically. But like you said, Bayern do have that pace, and Mbappe versus Davies will be interesting. But on the other side, you got Neymar on the left, and will someone be able to keep up with him? I don't know. I think that might actually be the more interesting battle. It might be that Davies negates Mbappe, but if Neymar can do Neymar things, then I think we've got some goals definitely coming in for PSG.
Yeah, well, it's a big game for Neymar. This is what he's come to PSG to do, sort of lead a side to the Champions League, a Champions League win. He looks a bit more mature, albeit his celebrations after the semi-final are a bit, some may say, too much, and not as mature. But he has a certain maturity, I reckon, this season compared to past seasons in the Champions League, and he looks like he's a bit more focused this year and wanting to win this final. But yeah, it's a massive game for him.
I do think, though, if things don't go his way within the first 20 minutes, I also wouldn't be surprised if he, throws a strop and throws his toys out his pram, and we could see a pretty poor performance as well.
Yeah, he's capable of doing that too.
Yeah.
So, it's Thomas Tuchel will have a big job beforehand in saying to his players, look, we need to stay focused. Don't let them try and rattle you, because that's what will
Don't let the refs' decisions rattle you either.
So I guess Tuchel is a good man manager, and I'm sure he'll be telling them all this stuff. But yeah, it's just Neymar, massive game for him, and I think that he hasn't been necessarily finishing his chances either in previous games. So stepping up to the plate in the final will be something he'll be looking to do. Lewandowski as well hasn't been necessarily on top form in the last two games. But still scoring, which is a sign of a great striker. If you miss a chance, you go and get the next one. That's what he's been about in the last few games. But saying that he's been off form in the last couple of games, that means he's probably due a couple goals in this final. So
a hat trick incoming.
Yeah. Well, he's chasing Ronaldo's record. Was it 18 goals in a Champions League campaign? I think Ronaldo played slightly a few more games, but obviously with the semi-finals and quarter-finals being put down to one-legged ties with COVID this season. But my goodness, Lewandowski has been an absolute just world beater this season. I think he's got 54 goals in all competitions, which is just unreal. I don't know if you have anything.
add on the 10 assists as well, right? And
Yeah.
it's quite a scary stat line. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much more to say. I mean, Lewandowski's been the player of the year, hands down. And I think just from a neutral perspective, you want him to perform like the player of the year because we want a good game, right? You want Lewandowski to perform at the highest level, and you also want Neymar to, whether you like him or not, you still want him to have a good game because you want an entertaining game, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no. Well said. And just yeah, I'm guessing you're hoping it's going to be a better game than last season's Champions League final.
Yes, hopefully.
Yes. But yeah, PSG against Bayern coming up. Do you have anything else to add on the game?
No, just hopefully you're not getting too drunk watching it. That's all.
Yeah, I want to be able to actually, watch the game and know what's going on. It would be
Exactly. Yeah.
but yeah, I was just going to add. Do you think Bayern having a lesser day's rest than PSG plays any sort of psychological or physical aspect at all?
I think at this point they're used to it. The sort of bubble aspect of being in Germany and
Yeah,
all that. I don't think it'll have too much impact. No, I think when it's all on the line, I think it doesn't really matter if it's 1 week or 1 day. They're still going to give everything they've got, and I don't think it really matters now. I think both teams are going to give everything they got. So I fully expect Bayern to still be 100% tip top shape.
yeah, no, definitely. And as you mentioned before, the midfield of Bayern Munich, I think they're just and maybe not overrun in the first 20 minutes, but definitely over the game. I think they'll show their superiority to over PSG, and
Yeah.
I think they'll come away with their sixth European Cup, which will equal Liverpool's six, which is why I probably want PSG to win, but it really doesn't matter too much in the end. But no one's really looking to say, oh, Liverpool won it 6 times, AC Milan have won it 7, but Real Madrid have won it 13, so I don't think anyone's catching them anytime soon. But no,
Who
so
knows? They might add some more to that soon as well. Who knows?
yeah, you never know. They won it 3 times in a row, not so long ago, so they're not too far away, in getting back to a final, I'm sure. But we'll move on to favorite Champions League final memories then, just quickly.
Oh God. I mean, I'll start with bias. Obviously, 2008 Champions League final, hell of a game.
Hmm.
Went down to the wire. First round of penalties finished. Then
Yeah,
takes a few more. Edwin van der Sar makes a save.
John Terry's
Scenes.
slip, which everyone seems to
Yeah,
forget after Gerrard's infamous slip, but yep.
just scenes. That's all. Whims, the works. But like without bias, I mean, I wouldn't say the Madrid was it 2014 when it went to extra time because Sergio Ramos scored a header.
Yeah.
Um, the game itself, the first 90 minutes wasn't great, but the extra time was great.
Hmm.
Um,
Di Maria scoring, Gareth Bale as well.
yeah, and
Um,
I definitely seem to remember. Sorry, just the Dortmund Bayern game in 2013 was quite spectacular as well.
yeah, that was at Wembley. The German supporters really took over London that day. That was
Yeah,
incredible scenes. Obviously, it was a shame that Dortmund went down because I think we all wanted the underdogs to win it. But yeah, the ending, Robin scoring that goal in the last few minutes, that was, oh my goodness, dramatic Champions League moment. Yeah, for
I
me,
would say 2005, but you probably weren't even watching it.
no, yeah, I was, how old was I? 4 years old. So no, I was not old enough watching it at the time, but um, I guess everyone has their stories from 2005. Obviously, I'm a Liverpool supporter because my dad is a Liverpool supporter, and he was, when we were living in Cayman as well, he went to the bar to watch it with a few mates, and he actually left at half time. And then as he was walking back home, um, his mate called him up.
No.
His mate called him up, and he was like, "It's 3-3. You better get back here because the goals were scored, 3 goals in 5 minutes." So and he was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, better shit. I missed this. I better get back to the bar." And then obviously the rest is history. After that, um, Just trying to think. Other 2006,
99.
07.
99. My uncle was in Barcelona. I mean, I was only 1 year old in 99 when we won it in extra time. But my uncle was actually in Barcelona, and he said it was the most amazing atmosphere, experience, everything. Because they the 2 goals in 2 minutes in extra time, just scenes, and he didn't even know how he was getting home, but he lost his shoes. He was just drunk, and it was fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be amazing. And just thinking back to other memorable. Well, Liverpool made the final 06, 07. Obviously, we lost that one to AC Milan, but it wasn't the final. I just remember Liverpool beating Barcelona en route to the final at the Cup as well. That was a good memory. But last year is definitely my favourite. Liverpool beating Tottenham. Just the scenes just in that game as well. Obviously not.
I mean, you do have to admit it wasn't your best game you've ever played.
No, obviously the early Salah goal sort of killed things a bit in terms of the gameplay. But when Origi scores that second goal, just me and my mates here just going as absolute scenes, and I just remember jumping up and down and just not really knowing who I was, hugging and celebrating around. But I remember breaking my glasses because I was jumping up and down, and I ended up flopping onto my glasses on the chair on the lounge, and they broke. But I didn't care one bit, one bit. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think also when Madrid played. Madrid played Juventus in the Champions League final, right?
Yeah, the one in Cardiff at the.
And when Mandzukic scored the overhead kick, that was a good game too.
Yeah. Well, that was a fantastic goal. I guess some people would say even 2018 when Real Madrid beat Liverpool 3-1 was a decent final.
I enjoyed that game.
I was enjoying it when Mane equalised, but that was obviously not living for me in terms of fun. But I'm just trying to think other games. Just Chelsea, Bayern is a good one too.
Yeah, I mean, we're not gonna. Neither of us are gonna sit here and lie and Champions League passed before 2005. None of us watched, so
no.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But you read up on it and stuff, and obviously, when Zidane scored that goal against Leverkusen in the final, infamous goal. But I do believe that wasn't necessarily a great game, just a great goal.
Yeah. Certainly one he'll be remembered for, amongst many other things. But so we'll move on, I guess, unless you had anything more to add on Champions League. Sort of, it's a real shame there's no supporters in the ground, obviously with COVID. But it would have been a fantastic spectacle for them. But
it's the Champions League nonetheless. They're still going to go wild.
There'll be people, watching it all around the world anyway. I'm sure we'll see many reaction videos and all the likes of that as well. But just we'll move on to a bit of transfer rumors again. Not too much kicking around, but anything in particular you wanted to cover?
I guess just a little Sancho update, just as a United fan.
Be a weekly thing on the podcast now.
A little bit pissed off just because I think what's going to happen now is basically our owners, who are some pretty outrageous Americans, are just going to turn around and say we're not going to pay that for Sancho, which is really annoying because we have the money, and it's, for them it's more, they just want their dividends, they just want to take money out of the club, so it's starting to piss me off a bit, but because now we're linked with David Brooks, who's good, but he's not.
He's no Sancho.
No. He could obviously give him time, he'll get better. I don't think he's the finished product by any means, but I think Sancho definitely has a higher ceiling. So it's still fingers crossed that we can get that through, because I don't think it's absolutely dead in the water. I think in order for the Glazers to actually pick up Sancho, we need to sell about 5 players. So we'll see. But for sure. Any other transfer rumors? I think there's a Brazilian centre back going to Arsenal. I don't know if that's confirmed.
Yeah, so rumors about that. I'll just get it up on my phone. It was, what's his name again?
It's Gabrielle something.
Gabriel something. It is. I just had it here.
Don't try to pronounce it if you're gonna mess it up.
Gabriel. One say it's gone. It's gone. It was just Gabriel. Just Gabriel.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that's from Losk Lille, is it? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
They obviously need defenders, so I mean I haven't really heard much of him, to be honest. Arsenal
I mean,
need.
Lille were in the Champions League this year, I think. Were they? I think so, in the group stages. So
Yeah. You never know. Who knows? Arteta, maybe with the new transfer sort of system, maybe it's something that could work out for them. Brazilian partner David Luiz. So there you go, Arsenal supporters. Chelsea are closing in on Ben Chilwell. That's
I mean, absolute shock to no one.
yeah. Something they need. Chelsea need defenders. It makes sense. Kai
Are they
Havertz
paying a bit much? Maybe.
probably, but then
He's
again,
only had one good season.
yeah,
But yeah.
yeah. Kai Havertz, do you think could still go through for Chelsea?
I mean, I'd say yes, it still could. It's just I don't know.
There's rumors of him being more than 300k a week if he makes the move over, which is just absolutely ridiculous for, what is it? How old is he? 20 years old? So
yeah,
21.
maybe it's not so much a case as he goes to Chelsea. I think it's pretty sure that he's going to leave Leverkusen. I would say, he could end up at like Spanish club as well. So it really all depends.
Yeah.
But I would say I think he's gone.
Yeah, no, it's about time, well, for him and his career that he could make the move, and that's why Chelsea are looking to get his signature. But any other rumors? Obviously you got Thiago in Liverpool. Apparently he's agreed personal terms, and there's rumors of him buying a house in Liverpool, but I don't want to believe everything I read just yet. So
yeah, because there were rumors before that Sancho had agreed personal terms with United, and then so it's don't believe anything really until you've seen him with the shirt on, basically.
Yeah, well, it's not like you've seen sort of Liverpool over the last few years. All our transfers haven't been massively publicised, and we saw as well with Jamal Lewis. I thought he was going to be a certainty to sign. Just we had to get the right price for him, and then the next day to Tsimikas, who I had no idea we were interested in, signed. So who knows? Tomorrow morning could wake up and Liverpool sign another midfielder that we just had no idea we were going in for. So it all sort of makes sense though that Thiago, who agreed personal terms, but he's just sort of waiting after the Champions League final to make it official and stuff, and he's just focusing on that, which makes sense in some ways, but also doesn't make sense that all this has been so public in terms of Liverpool, making it. So I don't know what people make it.
On the other, I was just say just on the other side of that is, it wouldn't surprise me if it turned out that he ended up going to City as well. I think that's something. I think it would still entice him working with Guardiola and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They just lost David Silva, and they're going to lose Fernandinho soon, so it kind of makes sense too.
Yeah, well, David Silva, a bit of a mix-up. I thought he was going to Lazio, but ended up going to Real Sociedad. The Lazio president, I think it was, they put out like an official media statement on the club website, and it literally was like 2 lines, and it just said something about David Silva. Obviously, it wasn't very nice words about him. Something about him.
Like obviously, I like hearing stories about City players being knobheads and stuff like that, but when I look at it from Lazio's standpoint, it's happened to United in the past. You don't move fast enough. There's other clubs lined up for him. You've only got yourself to blame.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was thinking. And also, he's a Spanish lad as well. He's going to want to, go back and play in Spain. I assume that's what, lots of them like to do. So, it's really Lazio. Yeah, as you said, have themselves to blame. Well, just with Thiago going to Liverpool, potentially, if he does make the move, there's potential Wijnaldum could move on as well. Ronald Koeman, which we're going to discuss quickly, is interested in bringing him to the Camp Nou. Also, Van den Beek from Ajax.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, Ronald Koeman, the new Barcelona head coach, he's got just a lot of work to do over there in what is just a mess of a club at the moment.
I think Barcelona, it could be a really good appointment. I like the way he has the Netherlands playing. It's pretty good football, and I know that he trusts youth a lot, which Barcelona kind of need. We've been hearing the last few months that their academy's sort of taken a hit. It's been a little bit underfunded and stuff like that. So I think Koeman might be a breath of fresh air in that sense, but I think there is a small danger of them trying to rest on what used to work, same way that United sort of did. He said, well, it used to work with Fergie. Why isn't it going to work now? And I think just the way that Koeman's a former player, trying to bring back what they used to have in the 90s and stuff like that. So it'd be interesting if it actually works. But when you look at the players he's linked with and you look at what he's come out and said about Barcelona, what they need when he wasn't boss, and the fact that he wants to bring through a lot of youth players, it sort of points in the right direction. If he can get the players that he likes, especially some of those Dutch boys like Donny van de Beek, I think it could be quite promising. Not for next season, but maybe the seasons after that. You'd be looking at Barcelona going, they're set up quite well here.
Yeah, well, obviously they're still going to build that team around Messi. He's 33 years old now, so he's getting on, but still obviously probably one of the best players in the world, if not the best. So yeah, he's got a lot of work to do. Is he still going to be the Dutch manager for the Euros, or is
I don't think so.
Yeah. So yeah, he came out and said before that he wants to be at the Euros with the Dutch team, but obviously taking the Barcelona job, it's sort of a once in a lifetime thing for many managers out there. So yeah, fair enough, he's taking the job. But yeah, many people reckon it's just going to be a 1 year stint for him until someone else comes in later. But I guess if you're Barcelona, you don't just want someone to come in for a year and steady the ship. You want to start, rebuilding now, which is what they need to do.
Yeah, you want the project to begin, right?
Yeah, there's so much to fix over there. The transfer policy. I think we just saw the deal for Pjanic and for Arthur as well. Just quite a bizarre deal. They're bringing in another 30-year-old midfielder. It's just they didn't need to do that. They just did it to balance the books. It was purely a transfer just to help balance their books. It wasn't a footballing transfer at all to help them with their squad in terms of playing football. Yes, the presidential elections at Barcelona again. Bartomeu, I think in a year's time, everything. Well, Messi obviously wants him to leave. They don't want him at the club anymore. Eric Abidal, who's director of football, has just left or was asked to leave because he was gonna be sacked, I guess. So yeah, there's lots of change going on. Well, we hope there's going to be lots of change going on because they need to reform a lot of things in the club. Koeman, he's a good man manager, as we've seen at Southampton. Bringing up the youth is what he's been good at, and with a young Dutch national team as well. So that's what Barcelona need, and maybe that's why they appointed him. So maybe it's not just a year thing that everyone thinks is going to be, like you mentioned.
Yeah. I mean, you look at some of the players that they've got sitting there on the bench, or maybe the fringe players who've come through the academy, thinking,
Fati as well.
well, yeah, why do we need like Vidal when we've got, not why do we need Vidal, but maybe thinking we don't necessarily need Vidal anymore. We should start giving like these younger players like Rui Puig or Ricky Puig.
Yep.
Players like that, Ansu Fati as well. It's if Koeman can get the right sort of players through the academy, then it'll be an interesting time to see if maybe we get the next Xavi, Iniesta, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think they need a new striker as well. Luis Suarez is 34, or going on to 34 now. So
yeah,
definitely an aging squad. Vidal in the midfield, Rakitic, Jared Piqué at the back. Although I think you can probably get a couple more seasons out of him.
Griezmann.
Yeah, Griezmann as well. It's not like these players we're naming are bad players. They're, well, maybe not world class at the moment, but they were definitely world class a year ago. So it's
But I mean, that's what a rebuild is, right? Even though they're good, it's just time for something new.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. Anything else to add on the Barca situation at the moment?
Um, I think the only thing that I would say is I'm definitely not in a position to give advice, but if if there was some advice I'd give is don't go absolutely crazy in the transfer market. Don't expect a lot of money equals success. I mean, look at what United did when they brought in like Di Maria, Falcao, Schweinsteiger, um, what's his name, Schneiderlin, Depay. Like that was all very quick, and it really didn't work out. They're all gone now. Um, you have to be clever with it. Take your time. A rebuild's not a 1 year fix. It's gonna take some time, but I think if done right, it'll definitely be worth it. And I think Barcelona will be back up there sooner than we think.
Well, that's the thing. They just need to give Koeman a bit of time, and I guess hopefully the Barcelona board is willing to do that. And yeah, we haven't necessarily
It'd
seen
be foolish not to.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. But I guess, they haven't really in the past given. Even though the signs haven't been that great from Setien and the rest of the coaches that have been there in the last few seasons. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think Koeman is a decent appointment for them. Going in a bit of a different direction, not the Spanish coach. Obviously, he's played there before. He was, a fantastic player for Barcelona. But yeah, no, be interesting to see what happens there. Just quickly, I do like the Barcelona home kit this season.
I'm not a big fan, actually. I don't like it that much, but I can kind of see the appeal.
Yeah, I don't know. It just reminds me of like the 2007, 08 Barcelona jersey for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah. Moving on. Last topic for the day: Premier League fixtures, which were announced a day or two ago. Yeah, just I think Liverpool only play United for the first time in January, if I'm correct.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll have to wait to get into each other on that one. But yeah, just Liverpool, just off the top of my head, I'm thinking of our fixtures. We've got Chelsea and Arsenal within our first three games. We play Everton, I think, 2 games after Arsenal as well. So it's a tough test, I guess, for the returning Premier League champions, although we do have Leeds at home on opening day. Just what comes to mind as well, West Ham play, I think, all the top 6 within their first 7 or 8 games. So that will be a massive test for them. Obviously, almost getting relegated last season, so that'll be a test for them. What do you make of the fixtures?
Yeah, well, I'm just pulling up a website right here saying which teams have the best fixtures in the first 6 game weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're saying Tottenham has Everton, Southampton, Newcastle United, West Ham, and Burnley, which is, some of those games there, you throw them in, let's see some bogey games, especially Everton and maybe Burnley. Maybe a tough game against us as well. But you would expect them to beat the likes of Southampton, Newcastle. I know West Ham's a derby, and I'm not sure. I think they must be at home to West Ham. So
Yeah.
you'd expect them to win that too. So not too bad of a start for Tottenham. You'd expect them to be picking up a decent amount of points, barring maybe the United game. What do you think?
Yeah, well, it's a great opportunity for Tottenham to get off to a good start, especially after a bit of a dismal season in the league. Dismal season overall, really. But yeah, not too much transfer activity at the moment at Tottenham. Well, they signed
Højbjerg.
Højbjerg from Southampton, which I don't know if that's the most exciting thing in the world, but it's a signing nonetheless. So yeah, good opportunity for Tottenham to get off to a good start. I think United's game against Burnley is postponed, isn't it? Because the extra.
So City's against Villa.
So yeah, chance for Liverpool to go 3 ahead of City first game week, hopefully.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I was just reading something. Klopp's Liverpool have averaged 3.75 goals in match week 1 over the last 4 seasons, and we play Leeds at Anfield, so hopefully that trend continues for us and get off to a good start. But Leeds will be up for it. Certainly, their first game back in the Prem for a while, and yeah, it'd be a good one to have supporters at, because I know we don't have the best relationship with Leeds either. Not many clubs do, but yeah.
I think the Leeds fans make more of a big deal of it than other teams, but yeah.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, anything that pops out for United in their fixtures?
I'm trying to. Okay. Crystal Palace, Brighton, Tottenham, Newcastle, and Chelsea are our first 5 because we miss Burnley. It's an interesting one because you think, well, Tottenham and Chelsea in your first 5 games, it's gonna be tough. But both Tottenham and Chelsea were both at home. You know, it wouldn't put us, based on our ending form, it wouldn't put it past us winning both of those games. But also at the same time, Chelsea are going to improve. I don't know how much Tottenham are going to improve, but if we don't improve, then the first 5 games are really going to sort of tell you how the rest of our season is going to go.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it is good to play the big teams early because, everyone's not necessarily settled in yet. But, yeah, sometimes momentum does play a big role in, playing so-called easier teams early to get the momentum going into some of the bigger games. So, yeah, I'm excited. Premier League's back very soon as well. Liverpool played Arsenal in the Community Shield in a week's time as well. So, yeah, it's been a short break in terms of football. Not really much of a break, actually. We got the Champions League final this weekend, and then 1 week till Community
Shield.
Yeah. So, yeah, exciting times ahead. And yeah, anything else to add on fixtures, Premier League?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be an interesting, like you said, it's gonna be an interesting start to the season, depending on how they try to introduce the fans back. When they sort of do that, how they're gonna do it, like I said. And
so sorry to interrupt. Just the rest for some teams has been less as well. Like Man City going a bit deeper into Europe, United as well.
Yeah.
That plays much more of a role as well. Liverpool getting a bit more of a break over City.
Tottenham have to do qualifiers as well.
Yeah.
The Europa League.
Yeah. So
it's going to be an interesting time. But I would expect I think it's pretty obvious to say I'd expect a more tight title race this season. I think Liverpool really ran away with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's because the quality of some of the other teams really took a hit as well. But I mean, that's not to fault Liverpool. They still got 99 points. So I mean, they're good to go. It's the other teams I expect to be gaining a significant amount more points than they did last season.
Any way too early Premier League predictions?
No one's barely even made a transfer, so it's really hard to say right now. But I guess, I mean, I think City will win the league.
Oh,
I think they've made some pretty good signings, and I think they're going to be. I think they just might be a little bit more up for it. Not that Liverpool won't be up for it, but I think it's a sort of, this is our turf. Like, we want it back, and I think the quality there.
It's very hard to go back to back in the Premier League.
Exactly.
And it'll be.
I think I touched on this before, though. It's not necessarily a back to back for Liverpool, because the season before that you had 97 points. It's almost a back to back to back.
Yeah, a three-peat almost.
Yeah.
But I think I think Liverpool will be challenging for the league. like to
Oh, of
say.
course, yeah.
I predict we're going to win it. A bit of bias in it, but I think we're favourites. I don't think I'm necessarily.
Actually, City are favorites, bookmakers' favorites right
Oh,
now.
yeah. Well, in my opinion, I think we're
Oh,
favourites.
sorry, yeah. I
Yeah.
thought you meant, yeah, no, for sure.
But yeah. Just well, if City go and sign another centre half, I don't think Nathan Ake is necessarily going to cut it for them either. So until they address that, maybe my opinion will change a bit. But yeah. Other than
Well,
that,
I mean, you got to admit though he's there to prove you wrong though, and if he starts strong to the season, he's a left-sided centre back, and if he's decent in the air, then up beside Laporte, they got a good goalkeeper. I mean, he's not crap.
yeah. No, that's that. Yeah, very true. And I'm sure we'll have another podcast on Premier League season preview later. But yeah, I guess we'll sort of wrap things up there.
Yep.
Thanks to people if you've made it this far. Um,
Yeah.
50 minutes in, be very kind of you. But yeah, Champions League final to look forward to in a day's time. It promises to be a cracking match in Portugal, and hopefully we do see a good game, a few goals, and yeah, football is
Yeah.
well and truly back and raring to go for
Well,
another Premier League. Yeah,
I would say to the guys who are watching, if you are interested, leave a comment. Let us know what you guys think the score is going to be, or maybe your way too early predictions for the league as well. We'll definitely read through them, and maybe you guys can give us some advice as well.
yeah, no, yeah, perfect, yeah, and yeah, subscribe, like, do all that sort of stuff. Share it with your friends, with your mates. That'd be good. We're just getting started here at
Yeah.
the Post Football Podcast. So yeah, um, yeah,
Hopefully, we'll have more people next time for
yeah,
the afterwards of the Champions League final.
yes, yes, yeah. So yeah, Champions League final, post match to come as well. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
Cheers.